You might be asking, winning the day, winning a war, are those the same thing? No, they're two very different discussions. So let's go big picture here. The big danger is twofold. One, more American bloodshed and billions of dollars spent in Afghanistan with nothing to show for it. That's a big danger. Two, extending an unwinnable war without a solid plan. So today I spoke with Andrew Edgar. He's at the Weekly Standard, a conservative magazine here in Washington, about the security and political forces involved. At this point, it looks like he's seriously considering putting in several thousand more. Politically, how does this play with the right wing?
Well, I think that the president's overriding concern with making the decision that he's reportedly going to make tonight, which is that he's going to put more troops into Afghanistan, is that his generals have convinced him that this is the way to go about winning the war rather than just beating a retreat. And the president doesn't want to be seen as the president out of, the four presidents, two presidents, however many presidents who have overseen this war already. He doesn't want to be seen as the guy who lost the war in Afghanistan. And so since his generals have been able to convince him that it isn't just that this is a lost cause, that it's just a war that's been mismanaged previously, that I think General Mattis has used the line that we haven't fought a 16-year war, we fought 16 one-year wars, and that different tactics are in order. He's convinced the president that this can actually be a decision that will end up being a political win for him if they can bring the war in Afghanistan to a conclusion on their terms rather than just beating a retreat, that he thinks that'll be a political victory.
Do you think that he also would see the loss of life and think, my gosh, this is a lose-lose for me, what do I do?
Well, I think that his national security team has done a pretty good job of bringing him around to the opinion, the view from which the national security team sees the issue, which is that short-term costs are outweighed by the potential long-term effects of beating too hasty a retreat, allowing Afghanistan to destabilize, allowing, rogue forces in Afghanistan and Pakistan as well to potentially present a national security threat to American soil in the future.
Now, this is the first time that we've seen a president really have to make a black and white start decision that he is going to own in its entirety. Do you think this is difficult for the president to say, this is mine and I now own it?
Well, I think one of the very interesting things about the reports that we've seen is that if the president had his way, he wouldn't necessarily want to be involved with this decision at all. In fact, reportedly, the way that the generals have been selling this to him is that this is the least bad of several bad potential outcomes to push this war forward. And he doesn't seem to be thrilled about the fact of sending more troops into Afghanistan. Like you said, it sort of runs counter to some campaign promises he made, those sorts of things. But I think that he has accepted the opinion that this is the least bad look for him going forward.
So the Weekly Standard is a conservative outlet. You're very plugged into conservative circles. What are you hearing from them? Not just the thought leaders and intelligentsia, but even readers when it comes to Afghanistan.
I actually haven't interacted much with the readership of the Weekly Standard. I know we tend to cater to more of the hawkish element in the right wing of America. But I think that by and large, the base is a little relieved, at least, that the president is trusting his national security team, trusting his experts. He came in, he's made some very brash foreign policy statements, especially, with regard to other entanglements that we're currently in. There are some, obviously, the whole Bannon wing of the party that are extremely unnerved by the McMaster-Mattis wing of the White House, who think that they're just a bunch of globalists who are just bent on keeping us embroiled in another unnecessary foreign war. With Bannon out, clearly the president doesn't have his voice on the table, and he's decided to go with the more establishment view of waging wars.